Wash day tomorrow. Nothing clean, right?
Nothing clean. Right.
Alright, Leo. This is Terminator 1 movie review. 1984 is the year that this thing came out. Why the fuck are we reviewing this?
Dude, to us, this is like... This is action. This is like the birth of what would fuel our passion in movies.
For me, yeah, for sure. As far as action movies are concerned.
Yeah, and like, you know, I guess like a nerdy side to it is, hey, there's robots in this.
Robots.
Cyborgs. Time travel.
All the above. Gunfights.
Cool
Chases.
guns. Yeah, oh yeah.
Badass villain. If not, you know what? Terminator 1, Arnold Schwarzenegger is probably... Number one villain for me is Darth Vader.
I agree with that.
But a close second would probably be Terminator.
Actually, to me, it's Freddy Krueger because he comes in your nightmares. You fall asleep, you're fucked.
Fucking.
And I used to see him in my hallway.
Now, but what? Is that true?
No. But
okay.
I used to, anyway.
I thought you were fucking... is that true?
When I was little, I thought I saw red eyes in my hallway.
That's probably the Terminator.
It probably was it. I thought too.
You know, guys, if you're watching this, we've already probably filmed Terminator 2's review. It's probably down in the link down below. But when it comes to this movie, this is probably one of my top 5 best action movies of all time. You're talking Arnold, probably not at his peak, but pretty much...
during his prime years.
Yeah, this is like the thing that started going for Arnold, like this, right? Now, the premise is simple. There's this character named John Connor, who is the savior of the free world, or the wasted world, or, you know, whatever.
Humankind at that point.
Of humankind. And he's fighting Skynet and the machines. And the machines, they've already lost the war in the future, so they say, hey, let's send one of our guys back to the past, 1984, kill John Connor's mom, and in the process, eliminating John Connor altogether. In the process, you know, just erasing him from history, essentially. Mm-hmm. And on the good guys on John Connor's side, they send a warrior back on his back as well by a guy named John Reese, or Kyle Reese. Yeah. Kyle Reese, sorry. But let's just talk the intros of these two characters.
Look, I always remember 2 naked men appearing out of nowhere through a portal, I guess. That's so... I want to say it's so original because I don't think I ever saw it in a movie again.
Other than Terminator 2, maybe?
Sure, I could be wrong, but it was just such a cool... I wasn't even allowed to see this movie.
Which is kind of weird.
It is weird.
Right? I mean, understandable, though.
And that's why... To me, Terminator 2 is better because that was my introduction to the franchise. I saw pieces of it as a kid, sneaking, trying to sneak around and see what I could find to see from that movie. But it's just so... Look, even watching it now, it's a scary-ass movie, I think.
It's a suspenseful movie, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, even the music, a guy that won't quit. Dun, 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 dun. You know?
Dun, 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 dun,
when he delivers the line in this movie, I'll be back.
Oh,
it's cold. It's a cold delivery.
This is, I mean, I don't want to imagine. I can't believe that there are some people that haven't seen this movie. Even if you haven't seen the Terminator movies, you must know the saying, I'll be back. Or the one-liner, I'll be back.
Right.
This is where it fucking came from. This is the origin of that line.
Yeah, a lot of his one-liners originated from this movie.
Yeah, and you know what's... Get out. I'll be back.
Fuck you, asshole. I love that one. It's like, what's insults that I select? Fuck you, asshole. It's like, that's his response to the cop.
And it's so funny, too, because this movie, Arnold, speaking of that I'll be back line, he actually got into an argument. I don't know if you know this, but he got into an argument with the writer about that line. Because Arnold thought it didn't sound natural. Mm-hmm. Arnold wanted to say, I will be back. And the writer said...
It's his Austrian ways.
Yeah, and the writer said, I don't teach you how to act, or you don't. I don't tell you how to act, you don't teach me how to write. Now say it the way I wrote it. And
I'm glad he did.
And then from that point on, it's I'll be back. He said it the way the writer wrote it. But speaking of the intros here, both men come out naked. Mm-hmm. Both have to get clothes and supplies and blah, blah, blah. If you look really closely, you do see Schwarzenegger's Terminator as he's walking naked to the three punks on the scene. You didn't know that you can see his wiener, but he's full blown.
Well, I mean, I'm not looking to see.
Oh, I'm eagle eyes. I'm eagle eyes, bro. Every single time there's a naked scene, eagle eyes, bro. It doesn't matter if it's guy or girl, because there aren't a lot of guys that really are willing to go full frontal, right, bro. There was
more of a female thing.
Yeah. There was this one. Who was the guy in the Lord of the Rings? The Two Towers. He was also in the History of Violence. Viggo Mortensen. He went full frontal in I think it's Eastern Promises or something like that.
See that one.
Dude, if you see him in there, he should have kept his damn clothes on, because his 2-inch dick was like, dude, like the ladies were probably like, oh man, I'm getting off topic talking about wieners.
Okay, back to Terminators and getting terminated. Look, actually, I'm one of the few I think that I like Salvation, I like Genesis. They don't hold up to these movies, but they're just good entries in the franchise. I won't even talk about 3, but
3 does not exist in my book.
Yeah, but I love the recreation of that intro scene to the T-101. Okay, at the observatory, right? Bill Paxton, rest in peace, is hanging out with some punks. One of the guys is the actor that played the bad guy in Cobra. And so he comes up and he's naked and he's like, give me your clothes, and he proceeds to beat them all up because they got, they're punks, but they have knives and, they're ready to cause havoc.
Got the switchblades.
Yeah, and they stab him, but he kills everybody, and then by that he punches through that guy, man.
Punches through his heart.
Yeah.
Like Kano style, fatality style.
And bloody arm. It's like, whoa, who is this guy? He just got stabbed. Nothing's happening to him. And then he keeps going. And I love that you don't know he is part machine.
The punks definitely don't know that he's fucking robot.
Until Kyle Reese tells us, hey, he's part machine. He's a cyborg organism. And then you start seeing some of the damage as he goes through the chase, right? In the club, he takes the shotgun blast. He crashes the cop car. He has to clean his eye. The flies around him. And it's terrifying. And then the fact that he just doesn't stop coming.
Oh, yeah. There's multiple times where you're just like, okay, before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's talk Kyle Reese's entrance. Kyle Reese comes in, steals pants from this homeless guy.
Sure.
I thought it was great. And then he's being chased by cops. And I love that he doesn't know where the hell he's at. He doesn't know if he hit his mark timeline-wise, right? He's being chased by a cop down an alley. He mugs the cop, takes his gun, and starts asking him, what's the date? The date! And the cop's like, May or whatever. He starts saying the day, and then the month, and then whatever. And then Kyle Reese says, the year! Yeah. And that's when it was like, the cop was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a strange question for someone who's naked to ask you, what year is it?
And I love the way that he's being chased by the cops, right? He ends up in some kind of warehouse or kind of overstocked kind of warehouse.
I want to say Woolworths or something, but anyway.
Full of clothes and stuff. Dude, I know you know this because I told you, but there's these shoes that he's wearing that I am dying to own. The Nike high top Vandals. Really expensive to get nowadays. I think they're like $800 or something like that. But anyways, I like that whole scenario.
He gets
here.
the vest,
the whole trench coat,
right? The trench coat, yeah.
And here's the interesting thing about this movie is no one has the complete puzzle here, right? It's like when it comes to the Terminator side, he goes back into the past. He doesn't know Sarah Connor's full name.
Oh, right.
He knows the first and last name, but not the middle name. Kyle Reese doesn't know how the fuck the Terminator looks like.
This after he's killed multiple Sarahs, he doesn't know if he's killed the actual target.
Exactly. He's just being systematic.
Right.
He's going through the phone book and saying, Sarah Connor, let me kill this girl. Sarah Connor, let me kill this girl. He's just being systematic that way.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting because they're both after Sarah Connor. One to kill her, one to protect her, clearly, right? And one Kyle Reese knows how Sarah Connor looks like.
Right, because he's had that picture all along.
Yeah. But you know what I like about this movie is he could have easily gone there to where she was at, take her, and, just drive her off or whatnot, and try to convince her, hey, there's this machine out there that's trying to kill you. I don't think that would have gone well.
See, and the thing is, you have to understand about that time period. In the 80s, Star Wars was barely one of the most sci-fi, as close as we got to fantasy or sci-fi,
Star Trek's another.
Sure, but like a robot, like that wasn't a prominent theme. I remember post Terminator, you started seeing more robots, RoboCop in the late 80s.
Sure.
Stuff like that. So it's the concept of, in LA, some cyborg running through the streets, a cyborg assassin, disguised as a human. The way Kyle describes him is he has blood and tissue, and he even has bad breath, so like he could blend in so well until you can get underneath the skin, which is cool as they start exposing that he is part machine, until you see till you see the entire exoskeleton. It's
that's what I like about one of the things I like about this movie is he chooses to wait and see who the Terminator looks like, because it wouldn't have benefited him any if he just took Sarah Connor and just fucking bounced.
He needed to know who his enemy was.
Sure, because if he didn't, at that point he's just driving around worrying for the rest of his life. Is that the Terminator? No, is that the Terminator? Like, you would just never know. So I love, speaking of this whole accumulation of all three sides meeting,
right?
This, by far, is my favorite scene of the entire movie. It takes place in Tech Noir, a club, an 80s club called Tech Noir on Pico. And I love the soundtracks here. I love the music. I love the people dancing. I love the clothes. I love the style. Everything about it. And the thing is like, so Arnold shows up, right? The guy didn't pay. Boom, breaks the hand.
Even before that, it's so clever how the breadcrumb trail is laid out, right? He got in a squad car, so he's overhearing, hey, we got another Sarah. Let's go get her. So he's already like, let me search for her. He goes to the house, right? Kills the girl, thinking it's her. But no, wait, there's a phone call. And he's there, and it's
the message picks it up.
Right, the message picks up, and it's like, hey, it's me, Sarah, pick up, and it's like, oh, damn, I didn't kill the right girl. Then he finds the ID, and now he knows who he's looking for.
Yeah.
And now he gets, because she gives him the address, so he has the address, and now he knows where to go.
This is where
terrifying.
This is where things pick up, actually.
Oh, yeah.
When the Terminator finally realizes, okay, there is no mistake here. I now know exactly how she looks, the target. From that point on, it just went all the way, like, suspense, action, for me anyway. The only missing thing is, there's two things. One, Kyle Reese still doesn't know how the hell he looks like.
Right.
And C, Sarah Connor doesn't know. Here's the clever thing, too. Sarah Connor saw Kyle Reese and thinks he's the one going to kill her.
Right.
Not thinking there's another dude.
Because he's being creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Creep.
Hanging outside the pizza shop.
Right, and like, kind of doing this sort of thing with his trench coat whenever someone walks past him. Trying to make eye contact.
So this accumulation of this, all three in the club, music's blaring, slow motion, Arnold turns around, sees the target, moves in closer, right, pulls out the handgun with the fucking laser sighting. Meanwhile, Kyle Reese is over there scoping it out like, holy shit, it's that motherfucker. He turns around, full-blown shotgun, gun battle happens.
Yeah.
Now, this is one of the... I love how the camera turned to Sarah Connor's face, and you just see the red dot, like right in the middle of her forehead, and you just see kind of like the realization, like, oh my god. Like, he's about to target. Right. I'm the target. Like, I'm about to fucking die here. And so this whole thing is like, can you imagine being Sarah Connor, right? You're in the club. You see this dude blasting this Terminator in front of you with shotgun shells. Like, at least 5 shots.
You're waiting for the cops to arrive.
Waiting for the cops to arrive for help. Shootout happens. You see this guy get tagged 5 times. He falls, and then he comes back up.
Yeah, he just sits back. That's terrifying.
Literally, the camera turns to Sarah as she realizes he's standing back.
He took
up.
5 shots to the chest.
She doesn't know what the hell this guy is.
Yeah. There's no way to know. But, well, then the reveal happens. Kyle tells us.
Yeah, sure. But she doesn't, I don't think, fully believe him at this point.
Well, I mean, even during the drive, right? There's a moment where he has to sort of, like, command her to, like, calm her down, right? No, stay in the car. Like, this is what's going to happen. Like, she's terrified. She's not even looking at him, you know?
She's like, don't move unless I say.
Right.
Don't make a sound unless I say.
That's terrifying, man. And, you know, I think this movie, I'm glad it didn't go this way, but this movie could have been even worse, more terrifying, if they never showed you Kyle Reese at some point in the future before. If we had no context that he had come from the... Like, if they would cut out all the Skynet scenes, the battles with the machines, and it would just been two guys come from the future, boom. They're both stealing clothes. One's killing, one's not, but they're both going towards the same target. Then you really would have been like, who's the bad guy here? One's not killing, but one's trying to make it to the same person.
That would have been an interesting thing.
I mean, there would have had to been alternate methods of us finding out why Kyle Reese is after her, right? Because he had no pictures. He was just like...
We would have known, though, as soon as the club thing happened. And
oh, well, sure, but see, that would have been a cool reveal. Like, anyway, fandom.
So the thing is like, I love the whole chase scene, right? He gets his eye shot. First of all, he's running away from the Terminator. Terminator's in the cop car. He's in a fucking look like a Buick or something. Cadillac. There we go. And that whole chase scene is happening. They're both, dude. This is one of the most macho chase scenes I've ever seen. If you really think about it, right? Kyle Reese is out the fucking window with a shotgun.
Halfway out, just sitting on the windowsill.
Out, as the car's driving full speed.
Full speed ahead.
Arnold is on the other car, full speed.
Shotgun.
Both hands aren't even on the steering wheel,
he's
bro.
He's like knee driving.
He's full on knee driving.
Shooting out the gun with his knees and stuff.
And they're constantly shooting shotguns at each other. Boom,
yeah, crossfire.
Boom. It's almost like they're playing a game of... They are playing a game of chicken.
Pretty much.
Somewhat. They're running right into a fucking brick wall.
Yeah.
Or a concrete
yeah.
divider or something.
It's like overpasses. Yeah.
You know, and Kyle in this instance got lucky. He shot the Terminator in his arm and on his eye, right? Which kind of brings me to that surgery scene.
Dude, that's one... See, and I think that's one of the first scenes I ever really saw as a kid, was just him, cutting himself open and all this blood and...
Operating on himself.
Yeah.
Treating himself.
Removing the cornea and the retina and stuff, just the eye parts that we have, and then exposing, right? The cybernetic eye.
And I really like this scene, too, because it actually, at this point, we don't know how he looks like underneath.
No. Right?
Now we get to see the eye, how his eye underneath looks like.
They shoot the servos on the arm.
Yeah, his arm.
Making the fingers function.
So that's our first glimpse of, how he really does look like underneath. And I gotta say, when it comes to this, after he operates on himself and he gets himself back together... Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm digging the fucking glasses, bro.
Yeah.
The fucking gargoyles. They're about slightly less than $200 if you could look on eBay. But I want a pair of those fucking gargoyles.
They're a very classic look.
Hell yeah. Dude, I want to buy those gargoyle sunglasses and literally make them prescription.
You probably could.
I probably could.
That look, though, when there's a transformation that happens. He's already been through that fire, right? His hair's burned off. He's been through a car crash, a head-on with a concrete wall.
Which I think was a good call with the fire and the hair.
Yeah, and it's like he's going through this metamorphosis slowly of revealing you who this machine is, right? And then, he's doing surgery on his arm, on his face. He puts on these glasses. He puts on this leather jacket. He's got these new guns.
Sick leather jacket.
Oh, yeah, it's clean. And then that's when he makes his way to the station.
And it's kind of funny because I think the hairdo alone, what he had before the explosion, the fire in the beginning of the movie outside of Tech Noir, if he kept the same hairdo, kind of very kind of parted on the side, I don't think he would have. I think he would have looked badass, but I don't think he would have looked like.
Well, his eyebrows were
iconic, bro.
Sure.
I don't think he would have looked iconic with the fucking flat top, with the shaved fucking eyebrows, gargoyle sunglasses, and this is where the at this point, they escape the Terminator. They get taken in by the cops. Kyle Reese is getting interrogated. He's laying out the whole story. The whole shebang.
This is where we get the introduction to psychiatrist from part 2.
Yeah. Silverman. Silverman. I
can make a career out of this guy.
Yeah. And he fucking did, be honest with you. If you look at Terminator 2, and Terminator 3 for that matter, but he appeared in Terminator 3 briefly.
Right.
But the thing is this scene is pretty important because they all think he's crazy. They all think Kyle Reese is crazy. They're interrogating him. And Kyle Reese is laying out how this whole thing happened, who he was under command-wise, and the whole nine.
And they're just like, this is baloney. This guy's nuts.
Completely nuts, right? Oh, you can't go back?
Right.
Oh, how convenient.
Right, yeah, they destroy the machine.
Yeah, why didn't you bring back a gun from the future? Oh, nothing...
Mechanical, it's got to be organic.
Oh, very convenient. Like, this is how I would be thinking if I was interrogating the guy.
If you're the psychiatrist, the criminal psychiatrist and analyzer, no.
But, he shows up, Arnold shows up at the fucking police station, and I'm just like, this is where you hear the infamous, "I'll be back" line.
So cold to it.
The delivery was excellent.
It's an epic delivery.
I can't think of another actor, really,
who could have delivered it like that?
At that time, that could have delivered it that way,
Maybe
bro.
Stallone with his low voice as well.
I don't think it would have sounded stupid. It would have sounded retarded, bro. But like Arnold nailed it. And I mean the whole police station.
The cool thing is nobody reacts until the gunfire starts. There's a big crash, right? He takes out the guy, drives right into him, and then he walks in, and everyone's like, "What was that sound?" Right? It sounds like a big bump, right?
Big bomb or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Then you start hearing the automatic fire weapon.
Pow! Shotgun.
Yeah, man. That's gotta be terrifying.
Dude, he had two of the fucking coolest guns. I mean, he walks in like this. Fucking gargoyles, leather jackets, leather gloves, the whole nine. And he's just mowing down fools. Boom.
Taking out fools left and right.
And this scene was pretty cool too because he was taking some shots too. So they emphasized in this scene how resilient Arnold really is. I mean, with guns, handguns, fully automatic guns that they did tag him with.
I mean, look, any normal human that would do such an assault on a precinct
would have been eaten.
First of all, they would have to go heavily armored to last at least a minute.
Oh, for sure.
But this guy just mows through everyone. He's taking shots left and right. I think there's a breaker he's going to mess with. They take a second to show you. He's busting the brick, takes up the shots. You see him move a little bit. It's like he's still getting shot at when he's doing these things.
He don't give a fuck.
Yeah. It doesn't faze him.
It's just like, no, lights out, homie.
Right,
boom.
Right.
And you know what's so funny is Sarah Connor at this point is taking cover. She's like just hiding underneath the desk. She has nowhere else to go. And I mean, it's not funny. It's not a funny scene per se, but I mean, she's under the desk, bro, and all she hears is
moaning, yeah.
And it's just like, dude, you just hear everyone just like, and I'm just like, dude, if I was there, I'd shit myself.
One thing I always, even when we just watched it, I think it's messed up how the two guys that take her phone call, how they die. They just go out so easy.
Oh, the captain.
Yeah, the captain. And the lieutenant or the detective or whatever. The two detectives working on her case.
Yeah.
They, stay here, and he takes this big shotgun and this, M16, and they go into the hallway, and he's like, hey, and they start blasting, and he just turns around and shoots them. And then the other guy comes out, and he takes the shotgun and the M16 fire, the automatic fire.
That guy had it the worst.
Oh, yeah.
I think that guy had it the worst, bro. And the whole thing is, this is my secondary favorite scene of all time. But it just shows, we're starting to see glimpses of how resilient, like I said, Arnold is. First, there was a shootout at the club, only shotgun shells, took maybe like 8 shots, 9 shots or something like that. This time he's at a police station, he mows down like 30 officers.
Sure.
Clean. And I mean, they're hitting him with fucking revolvers, handguns, fully automatics.
Right. Everything they got.
The
kitchen sink.
Nothing. Right? And here's the clever part. So they escape the police station and they get away from the Terminator once again. I love how the Terminator he never gives up. He's always like, okay, I don't know where the hell they're at. I need to find where the hell they're going.
Mm-hmm.
So what does he do? The first time he broke into Sarah Connor's house and she wasn't there, she was at Tech Noir Club. He took the phone book, bro. Her little personal phone book.
Oh, man. And you know what? It comes full circle in a way.
Yeah.
Because they're in the motel. Like, this sets up the final scene, right? They're in the motel, and he's like, don't go outside, don't answer the phone, nothing. She calls her mom.
At Big Bear.
In Big Bear, which we see him scanning the book for addresses, and that's the one that he stops at. So you're like, okay, something about Big Bear. She's talking to the mom, cuts to the Big Bear house, and it's slowly panning.
As she's talking to her mom, supposedly.
And then we get the reveal of the door busted in with the shotgun blast through it. And then it's the phone, the hanger's off the hook, and then it's him on the phone. And, you see him mouth the words that the mom's voice is saying.
You know what, though? I blame Kyle Reese for that. You know why? Because Kyle Reese is telling her everything she needs to know, the story and where he comes from, and how these fucking Terminators were killing everyone, and blah, blah, blah. How dogs can spot them.
Oh, right.
Not once did he realize, hey, by the way, this motherfucker steals voices.
I don't think they've ever encountered one that could do that.
Maybe you're right.
Because we do get that scene where he's explaining, right, about a manhunter or whatever that bypassed their security once, and he was disguised as a human. So it was the first time they ever see a cyborg or a machine.
The T-101 series or the T-800 series.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And then it looks like a human, and he's blasting everyone inside that place, and he barely makes it out of there. So I think he'd never heard one speak, so he didn't know that. I don't think he had a way to know.
Now, so Sarah Connor thinks she's talking to the mom, right? Mm-hmm. Little did she know it's Arnold Schwarzenegger's Austrian. I'll be back kind of shit.
And she doesn't even tell her the place they're at, the address. She just gives him the name. So he finds the phone book. He calls him, "What's your address?"
Which I think is kind of funny too, because
what's your address there?
He knew the name of the hotel room or the motel,
the Tiki Motel or whatever.
But he called the Tiki Motel.
For the address.
But how would he...
No, she called the house.
Yeah, but
he was there, he picks up, and she's like, yeah, I'm this place, Tiki Motel. And she's like, okay, stay with the guy, whatever, be safe. He hangs up, calls right back, hey, where are you? Give me your address, or whatever.
Yeah, but how did he know the number to the Tiki Hotel?
I think, didn't he use the... He must have done star 69.
In 1984?
Yeah, sure, I don't know.
Nah,
it's my fandom.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know if there was star 69 at that time.
I thought he used the phone book, but anyway.
That's what I'm kind of going off of, because it's like if he knew the number of the fucking hotel, he should know the address, but he didn't. He just knew the place. But how did he know the number?
I think she gave him the number.
Maybe. Okay, I'll buy that. Fuck it.
So they could stay in contact with the mom. Hey,
sure, I'll buy that.
Call me mom. I'll be here. Come pick me up or something.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, fuck it. I'll buy that. That makes perfect sense to me. So so this is another thing that I like about this movie, dude, is I don't see in a lot of movies. Now this may sound a little I'm not misogynist or anything, but I love sex scenes, okay? Done right. We're not talking like softcore porn here or anything like that.
But see, I remember most of the movies in the 80s having sex scenes like this.
I enjoy those movies. Because to me that's more real. For some reason, my mind equates that as being more real. And
I mean, this one's kind of cheesy to me.
Oh,
there's little
when he confesses his love, and then he's like, all of a sudden they're boning.
Right.
But see, here's the thing: is if you're gonna do a sex scene,
I mean, it's like a The Room sex scene almost.
No way, bro.
Almost.
The Room sex scene?
Pumping way up here and stuff.
No,
stuff.
No, he wasn't fucking her belly button, right. Okay? Like, what I'm saying is, the Terminator sex scene, I think, is a good sex scene. It wasn't raunchy. It was done right, right? You get the passion in Sarah Connor's face.
A little nudity.
A little bit
just enough.
Of, just let me see the nipple color. Okay, great. It's a dark tan. Great. And then we'll cut away, but it's that little tease.
Sure. The reality of it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's like whatever it's called, like the passions of like war, right? Like in like this moment where they're like, we could die, there's still passion for each other and stuff.
And we're not talking like, I'm not saying I want sex scenes like, I don't know, the opening scene of American History X. I'm not saying that, but I don't know what it is, Leo. When it comes to action movies, I just enjoy a little sex scene. It just adds to the little flavor, a little salt and pepper in that shit, you know, like, you know, like it just works for me in this movie.
For me, it's whatever.
So
okay. Mm-hmm.
So fuck it. They bone, they cream pie.
Sure.
He fucking shows up. I like how the Terminator's in a red motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
Right? He's like this with the fucking machine gun. like no shit's given, bro. Yeah. Like he doesn't care if a cop sees him in the freeway. Nah.
Well, I mean, you see that when he acquires the weapons, right? So ruthlessly, he just loads the gun.
Hey, you can't do that. Wrong. Boom.
Yeah.
But I just like, that to me is like the ultimate badassery, right? Mm-hmm. How badass is it, Leo, that he's riding a motorcycle with a gun on his shoulder?
Just riding down the streets.
No shit's given. Look, I want to see more movies like that, bro. I want to see it.
It's a different time and place now. I don't know that they get away with stuff like that now. But it is, look, I tell you, to me this movie is like a horror movie because it's horrifying what they do to this thing, and it keeps coming. Even when he's been terminated.
He needs to be terminated again.
He looks like, I'm like, just put that arm back in there and, crush that. Re-terminate everything. I mean, it's I think it's terrifying.
But it's kind of cool because, look, this guy gets shot at, thrown out the window. Mm-hmm. He gets shot at in the police station, fully automatic guns, handguns, revolvers, whatever the fuck. Then he gets hit with a fucking truck, then gets hit with an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, he gets run over.
Then he gets blown up in the 18-wheeler. He's still on fire. Fucking coming, bro.
All the skin burns off.
Still coming. Then he gets fucking blown up with a grenade in his torso.
The pipe bomb, yeah.
Boom. He's still coming, bro.
And that reveal is I love when she's like mourning his death for a split second, and in the background we see the skeleton of the
torso.
The torso. Well, we don't even know what it is. It's just parts of, because you see pieces all over the place. She pulls out the piece off of her leg, right? She's hurt as well. So she goes see him, turns him over. He's dead, right? I can never remember if he dies or not, but he's dead. He's given his life, right, to help her get away from this thing, and it rolls over, and now it's missing everything. There's like just the torso with an arm, and this one he doesn't even have the fingers. He's just like he's pulling himself forward. He's gonna keep coming,
and even, I mean, and Sarah, you would think that Sarah would just run away. But no, she's injured herself.
Well, she's injured, so she can only go so far.
Yeah, she can't walk, or I mean, she could have probably hopped or something.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, but the thing is, like, how are you going to get away from this thing, right? And enter the hydraulic press.
Which is kind of cool. Yeah,
it is a cool way of like going out as a bad guy, because
just the whole chase of like Sarah Connor.
First of all, this is the world's biggest press because she's in it and she's been crawling for like what seems like 5 minutes through this thing. Like, I thought it was just, I really thought it was like a tunnel access from one side to the other of this thing because there must have been some machinery around or whatever. But no, it's a hydraulic press. She shuts the gate on the machine. The arm comes through. It's still reaching. It could at any point grab her face or
rip her shoulder for sure.
Like, rip her jaw from her face, like that. And she's like, "You're terminated, bitch," and pushes the button. Gun effect, yeah.
Bitch. Yeah. I don't think she said bitch. I said, "You terminated, fucker,"
yeah,
or something.
Yeah, she pushes the button, and boom, he gets squashed with the electricity everywhere. It's going offline.
And I love the way this ended because I typically don't like happy endings for the most part. I like kind of realistic endings.
You like repercussions, and you want to see the cost of your survival.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. Which is why I kind of sidetracked. This is why one of the reasons why I like Rogue One,
and why I like Predator personally as well.
Oh, for sure. By the way, we are going to be reviewing Predator next and Conan the Barbarian. I think it's going to be fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger month.
Sure. Red Sonja, come on.
And so the thing that I like about this death is, not only was the death epic, right? Lightning sparking. Mm-hmm. eyes shut off.
Yeah.
They left it so perfectly as an opening for Terminator 2. Because you know they're going to recover that fucking arm. They're going to study the shit out of that arm.
And there's still parts of the body left all over the place.
Yeah, still parts part of the chip, because the entire head wasn't crushed. It was part, like, halfway crushed.
I mean, we see that it was a little damaged.
Yeah. So, I think it ended perfectly. Mm-hmm. Everything about this movie is... I don't want to change anything about it. Not one fucking thing. I even like that fucking when Terminator first entered into Sarah Connor's home, and he busted up that dude that just got busted nutting nuts.
Yeah,
that whole from that to
the post-coitus meal she's making, right?
Yeah,
she's still rocking. By the way, this is just as a fan of the movie. One thing that always sort of like, oh, that's messed up, right? Is the scene, they're going at it, right? And he comes in through her shirt, right? And she's like rocking out to this music. Just like, she's still enjoying whatever she's listening to. And he's like, I'll do my thing.
Yeah, fuck it. As a matter of fact, I think he turns up, he grabs the Walkman, he turns up the volume.
Like, you don't need to hear this.
Yeah. You don't need to hear me.
Yeah. And then, he's sleeping. She goes into the kitchen, makes this huge sandwich, celery sticks with peanut butter. It's the biggest
fucking sandwich I've ever seen, bro.
Celery sticks with peanut butter, milk. She's like carbing up.
Like, dude, that's
she's like, a full recovery
I don't even think that sandwich tasted good. I think she just fucking threw everything on that some bitch and was like, call it a day.
I need to eat whatever.
So this movie, let's go rating time, bro.
Okay.
You want to go first on the rating time?
Sure. Honestly, to me, still T2 is better. I don't know. I can't tell you why, because rewatching this movie, they're both like right there. This one, they're two tone wise. These movies are way different, right? Because in one, you have this cool looking character that's a killer. In the second one, he's like a savior in a way, right? He's a protector. So I sort of like what he does as a protector a little bit more than as a killing machine. So, and to me, that was my full introduction. I saw the movie all the way through for the first time on a big screen in a theater. So for me, the way I experienced T2 was much better than because by the time I had seen Terminator, it was all spoiled. I had seen it out of order. I had heard things. I had seen special important scenes like the face reveal, the arm already. So I knew going in what I was gonna see, right? So to me, the experience that I'm guessing you had with T1 was I can't. It's not the same, unfortunately. So for me, T2 is better. For me, Terminator 2 was an 11. I'm busting through that ceiling cap. So for me, Terminator is a 10.
I can't argue there. So the thing that I like...
So let's say it's a 9.5 and Terminator 2 is a 10.
Okay.
Or a 9.999. Fine. There's little things that every time I watch it, for example, the fact that it's so heavily flavored in the 80s, to me it's like I'm watching something in the 80s, right? Versus Terminator 2, it could still have taken place a few years ago for me because that's how it feels. It was just a few years ago. Even though timeline-wise, it was when I was a little kid.
Sure,
even.
We were like 10, 11 years old.
Sure, I was born. I just come to the United States when the first Terminator happens. So let's pretend that this movie's real, right? Somewhere in the streets of Hollywood, there's this killer machine trying to go after Sarah Connor. My mom and I she's just walking around with this little baby, right? Your mom was probably, our moms were probably chilling at, that Tech Noir club, dancing in there one of the previous nights before. We never know, right?
So 9.5, Terminator 1.
My man, sure. Yeah, 9.5 and 10.
Okay.
Terminator 1 and 2.
If you were to ask me which Terminator is better, I couldn't answer that. It would just depend on the day. It would be one or the other, depending on the day, right? The thing I like about Terminator 1 the most is the style,
sure, the
setting, the music, and I felt like, don't quote me, because I could change my mind on this at any minute, is I felt like the action scenes had more at stake.
So more gravitas to them.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking Tech Noir scene We're talking like tech noir scene. We're
Yeah.
talking the fucking police shootout.
Even as you say tech noir, I feel like because the movie has a lot of smokiness to it, right? There's a lot of like in the first scene, and there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Even like with the trash in the streets, right? The bums, the way this landscape is filled.
Hollywood would have to recreate this, whereas back then it probably was just like that in the streets.
That's how I remember those streets.
You know.
So for me, anyway, so I feel like this is like a noir-ish movie. There's a noir element to it. It's like it could have been done in black and white, dude, and it would have been even creepier, I think.
Ooh.
Can you imagine Terminator in black and white? Just
wow. I think I might just do that in post.
that would have been like a just a straight killer movie, a killer on the loose, trying to murder Sarah Connor. If you're Sarah Connor, watch out, you're gonna die.
So when it comes to Terminator 1, I'm gonna give this a fucking 10, just like I give a 10 to Terminator 2. But they're 10s for different reasons, right? 10.
I can't disagree with that.
For Terminator 1, the style, the class, the action, and the story, killer.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Terminator 2, the action, the character development, and there were some badass moments in there too.
Sure.
Okay? But there was more character development for each character. John Connor, the Terminator, the T-800, the fucking Sarah Connor. All of that was more developed than number 2, and it added more flavor to the fucking mix.
But you like the beginning of these characters in the first one better.
Yeah.
Right.
I do.
I can't disagree with you there.
But the development in part 1 was not that great. I mean, it was more like Kyle Reese just came back and just told us what happened and why he's there. More or less, I didn't get to know who Kyle Reese is.
See, and that's why I like Genesis a little bit, because we get a little bit more of a glimpse into Kyle Reese. I know it's not canon, essentially, right? Because it's so deviated from the first 2 movies, but I still enjoy that we get this aspect of like, oh, this Kyle Reese was born like in like 98, 99. He lived through that.
Like a year after or 2 years after.
Judgment Day, essentially. Yeah. Right? But it goes down in a different way. There is a software and an app that is now going to tap everyone and link everyone together, you know, and then we get to see these flashbacks of his childhood and his parents and his childhood home, right? And he grew up just outside of San Francisco, and all this stuff is taking place there. So I like that's why I like that movie. Really, what saves it. But anyway, it's not here nor there.
10 out of 10.
Sure.
10 out of 10. Now, guys, in the comments, if you guys like what you see, give us a thumbs up. Let us know what your favorite scenes was.
Yeah.
I mean, are we like... I mean, I think a 10 out of 10 for us is like normal, but someone could be watching this and it's like, these guys are fucking tripping.
We don't review things that we didn't enjoy. It's that simple. So if we're talking about a movie, we're taking our time to talk about it because we love these movies.
We like to talk about them.
Or there's something rewatchable about them that we enjoy every time we view them.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
And the reason why, by the way, guys, that I haven't been releasing too many reviews is because there's a lot of shit out there, honestly. In the last, 2 years, I can go back further than that, but in the last couple years, there's a lot of shit. There's like a 10% great movies that come out every year. But I'd rather, sometimes I see movies and I'm like, okay, I enjoyed myself, but it didn't leave a lasting impression on me. And I figured, okay, well, why am I going to talk about it
Right,
then?
it's not worth having a discussion about.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's like, I'm going to have to put in a couple of hours to talk about it, upload it, edit it, and, to me, I'd rather just talk about things that just, movies that just stand out. Like The Crow would be a good movie.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 and 2. Predator, clearly. Fucking Conan the Barbarian. Not many, and you know what's kind of cool about doing those movies is there's a lot of millennials, clearly, right? There's a lot of, under 25 people that watch YouTube. Dude, I wouldn't doubt it if a lot of them, they never saw these movies. Which
to me is just surprising because I'm fortunate that I grew up in that time. That was my childhood. A lot of these 80s blockbusters, the Die Hard series, the Predator movies, Conan movies, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, all these things that I would just rewatch. Never Ending Story.
Even Christopher Reeve's Superman.
Sure.
You know?
I mean, it's Star Wars, like all these things. Aliens, all these movies. RoboCop.
Oh, dude, we gotta hit RoboCop, bro. RoboCop 1 and 2 for sure.
Man, it's your move. Creep.
That was a good. I can't top that outro here. That fucking one-liner. Anyways, I'll just say I'll catch you guys next time. We'll catch you guys next time. Later.
Yeah.